everybody. Thanks for stopping by the channel. My name's Chuck, and we're going to have a discussion here, a video, about a balancing ring for the standard surface grinder grinding wheel. Pretty much the standard is 7-inch diameter, 1.25-inch hole. The wheel mounts on a typical arbor like this. Let's see, and it's left-hand thread. So you have the arbor that mounts onto the grinder. You mount your wheel, then there's the washer, and then the lock nut. Now, you always want to make sure on your wheel that you have a blotter on each side of the wheel. Okay, so we'll just talk about that for a second. So, if you followed my channel, you know that I have surface grinder. I have two surface grinders actually. I'm a home shop hobbyist, not a professional. I'm not an expert on surface grinding, but I really enjoy it. So I opted to embark on balancing my wheels after I saw a video from Sierra Specialty Auto, Joe Way, friend of mine from YouTube, and he showed making a aluminum balance ring. I saw that and I thought, man, that is slick. And with that, I decided to go ahead and print a ring instead of machining it. Going, man, this is just simple. Just design it, print them. You see I printed a few of them, and use those. Well, I showed it on Instagram, and a lot of people expressed concern that the PLA ring might explode. Now, PLA, it's known that it'll pick up moisture from the atmosphere, and it can weaken it, and it also, if I was using spray mist, it would be absorbing that also. I was dead set on still using the PLA, so I ended up did a couple of videos, explode or safe or something to that nature. I'll put a card or cards where I tested the PLA units on a handheld grinder, which spins much faster than a surface grinder. And you can see the weights here are quite offset on the one side, and the reason is those are very, very small weights. That's why they're so ganged like that. My first attempt. Well, it didn't explode, and I was really kind of set on just going, hey, for my home shop use, the guards on the machine doesn't get used that much. If it happens to let go, it's in the guard. It's not going to really affect anything. But that, I kept thinking about it, and I said, you know, I'm gonna do something else. So I took my design, my drawing, and sent it down to Joe Pieczynski and asked him to machine these for me. So I ordered a quantity from Joe, and I got to tell you, you know, anything that comes out of Joe Pie's shop is just excellent, and these guys are just beauties, and just to hold them in your hand is something else. So let's talk a little bit real quick about balancing a wheel. This wheel right now is balanced. I'm not going to go through the effort, the time that it takes to balance. As you do it, you get better at it. One of the things you have to make sure is that the balancing fixture is definitely level. And you can see I got a little bit of creep there. I ended up purchasing the balancing fixture in the arbor. You can make your own balancing fixture. There's different videos on YouTube. It's not an extremely hard thing to make, and of course machining an arbor is not a you know, if you're doing machining, it's fairly simple. So with that said, balancing rings in general and balancing a wheel, Suburban Tools showed a balancing a wheel, and they ended up actually drilling the stone itself, and by taking weight out, they created the balance. They said it's safe. It's pretty much hit and miss, and I think you have to have a lot of experience to do that on how much you're taking out. There are other balance rings that you can purchase. There's a type that has 3 sliding weights in the back of the ring, and then there's another type where there's 2 rings and they go together, but they have one side is dished and the other side is dished, and you slide the rings to attain balance. They're very expensive, both versions. Go ahead and search on eBay and find them, and you'll find out that they're expensive, if you can find them. So with that said, you know, the way this works, basically, we have the grinding wheel. We bring the arbor, the fixture there, and then you take the balancing ring, install it, install the lock ring there on it, and then your tightening nut, and you tighten this down, and that's how simple it is to install the ring. Now, as I mentioned, this wheel's already been balanced, and you'll notice that the set screws aren't all the way back into the balancing ring. The purpose of that is, you'll notice here there's 3 different size set screws. There's a 1/2 inch long, a 1/2 inch long but has an extended tip, and then a much shorter one with an extended tip. The extended tips are there so that you could actually grind down that little bit of a tip if you need to really get fine tuning. When you buy a ring from me, I'm selling these. If you buy a ring from me, you'll get 3 of each set screws for your balancing. And the way you balance is, I had mentioned that the set screws were not installed all the way into the ring. The purpose of that is it's much simpler and quicker to just thread the screws just into the ring to attain balance. Once you attain balance, then you can set them in all the way. Before you put the ring on, you want to go ahead and put your wheel on your grinder and true it up, and then you install the balance ring on it with no weights, and you'll see here this wheel here has a mark there. It's basically indicating north and south. Heavy, and this is the light, this is the heavy side. And you mark your wheel, and then you want to put a heavy weight at the top there, and then you'll put another weight at 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock to start the balancing. You're going to move the wheel and see which way it moves, and then you'll start adjusting the weights. Either by moving them the number of holes, or starting to modify how much weight is where. You'll notice here we have 4, and then there's nothing across the whole bottom to attain the balance. It's not rocket science. It does take time, but in the end, as it's well known, a balanced wheel will produce a better product in the end. The other thing that I provide with the balance rings is a sheet on the procedure on how to balance a wheel. Very similar to what I just kind of discussed here. So with that said, I'm going to close out this video. I hope you enjoyed it, maybe learned a little bit something on it, and know that I am marketing these for sale. You can reach me via my email. It's been on the screen there, and it'll be in the description also. Again, appreciate your time stopping by the shop. I always appreciate it. Comments are welcome, and we'll catch you on the next video. Thanks.